should have remembered.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Partners in Crime. I'm Shawna.
And I'm Annie.
And nice to be back. We've had a couple weeks where we weren't able to do the podcast.
It's been 2 weeks?
I think that, yeah. So we did our last episode about 3 weeks ago. Lots of exciting things have happened in that time. So why don't you give everybody a little update?
We went to Calgary.
Yes.
Just for context, I just messed up so bad. We had to restart the episode.
A blooper there, but
I'm sick. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I thought we were in Toronto. So.
Yeah. But no, that's where we want to go.
No.
But yeah, you've probably heard us mention a few times, if you were following the saga, we announced with great excitement
It's so sad
that Cara Buono was going to be in Calgary. We were already planning to go because of our Lost podcast and because of our love of Lord of the Rings. And then to find out that Cookie Gaspari, the one, the only.
Why?
But then, yeah, she canceled. But thankfully, for Annie's sake, someone else canceled too.
Yeah. Kate, I was at the mall yesterday. Mm-hmm. We were in, Sunrise Records, and my stupid brother kept, he found the stack of the Goonies, and he just was putting them everywhere, everywhere for me.
So you saw her? Yeah, so Martha Plimpton, who appeared in the Goonies, also had a very memorable appearance on Criminal Intent because she kidnapped Eames. And it was actually, incredibly traumatic, way more kind of just cross the line as far as I'm concerned in terms of what we're used to seeing on the show. Clearly Annie is very traumatized from this fictional plot line. So that was going to be the dilemma. Yes, we're excited to see Cookie Gaspari, but was Annie going to be able to look at Joe Gage without screaming? And so I
drew it, I drew it, and so what's up with that? Why did I drew it? So it has to come true, but it didn't. That's not.
Yeah, and so I had visions of us being in the con and Annie pointing and screaming at Joe Gage. But alas,
I would have been kicked out, but at least she knows her place then.
So Calgary was kind of a swing and a miss as far as Law & Order Criminal Intent. As far as our Lost podcast, it was great.
Just so good. So go watch that episode if you even care.
I think we've talked about on the show that Annie has very maternal feelings towards Elijah Wood.
Yes.
She was able to meet him.
Mm-hmm.
Got a picture with him.
Yeah.
So
we'll
really
have to put
exciting.
in a photo of the family tree.
However, no, not a lot there for any Law & Order fans. Whereas 3 years ago in Calgary, I got to meet Vincent D'Onofrio. So,
okay, time for a new. Is this an episode of Is It Vincent D'Onofrio or Vincent D'Onofrio?
I think it is.
I think it is. Okay.
So, what do you think it is?
I think it's D'Onofrio, because that's how my dad says it.
Okay.
You're the only person I've ever met that says D'Onofrio.
So you think I've been saying it wrong all this time?
So.
Well.
But remember when we were on our Lost podcast and you said Catherine Erb?
Yeah, well, I for a while you didn't know either.
Yeah, well, I was so naive back then.
The problem is, how are we ever going to find out? Because, as you know, the rules to this podcast is that we're not allowed to look it up.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just have to canvass random people how they pronounce his name.
Just asking on the streets.
Yeah. Vincent D'Onofrio. That's what you're saying?
I'm pretty sure it is.
I've always said Vincent D'Onofrio.
But it might be Vincent D'Onofrio.
There's
no way to find out.
There's no way to find out, which is why we continue to do the podcast.
Yeah.
But, it wouldn't be unheard of for me to be pronouncing something wrong for years. I was pronouncing, okay, wait, how do you really say it? Lilac? Is that how you actually say it? Yeah. So
what were you saying?
Well, this was my mom's doing. That she always pronounced it lilacs.
Oh.
And so that's how I learned to say it.
Lilac.
So just like we've learned from, profiling and criminal intent, it all starts in your childhood. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I probably pronounce a lot of things wrong. So,
okay, well, that's the episode
anyway,
today.
yeah, thanks for joining us.
All right, and we're back.
That was a good ep of that.
Very good ep.
Yeah.
So
I guess we haven't really talked at all. We've just been talking about Calgary.
yeah.
But we should note that I discovered something interesting this week.
Yeah, she dug up some files.
Yeah.
Found some evidence.
Yes. And so what's happening in August?
Toronto Comic-Con, and everybody from Calgary who canceled is going to be there.
Yeah.
Including the one, the only, Cookie Kaspari.
Can it be?
Could it be? Could it be Cookie Kaspari? The one, the only?
Yeah, so now we're kind of thinking, well, should we go to Toronto?
But what if she cancels? Which brings... Wait. Is this an episode?
It is. I think it is.
I think it's an episode of Carabono. Please come to Toronto.
We're begging you.
We're begging you.
Yeah, so in this podcast, we essentially beg Cara Biano to come to the Toronto Fan Expo and not cancel this time. So she's already signed up to go.
But
she's included
the
on
thing
the
is,
list.
according to AI, which we all know is probably the best way to get your information, she was not there for filming. So if that's really the case,
she may have had
probably will be there.
A real conflict.
For Toronto.
Yeah, and my brother, who is an expert in these matters, says that Toronto is it's a way bigger con than Calgary, so probably, fewer cancellations. Although Henry Ian Kuzik, maybe I'm saying that wrong as well, he, of course...
I'm not so sure if you're saying Carabuano right, too.
I know, I don't know how to say it. So, yeah. What do you think it is?
I think it's Carabuano, because that's how you say the bueno bars.
We'll just stick with Annie. We'll let her be our guide.
7 minutes in, not a single word about that.
But, some people are notorious for canceling.
Including him.
Yes, who played Desmond on Lost. But as far as I know, Cookie Kaspari has been pretty good. She was in Orlando, she was there. Mm-hmm. We'll see if
she had fun, I think. I saw some nice photos.
Yeah. She's supposed to be in Denver later this month. So.
And if she's in Denver, then I think that's when we start saying,
pull the trigger.
She'll probably, yeah.
Because what if we buy the tickets and we buy the flights,
photo ops and stuff,
and then she cancels? And I mean,
this is just a what if. Still, we don't know if we're allowed to go.
I mean, and whatever, it's just still would be great to see everyone, but they were mostly already at Calgary, all the people we want to see. Plus, you didn't mention who else is supposed to come to Toronto. Joe Gage is also. So we're stuck with that same
if
dilemma.
we mention Joe Gage one more time, I'm actually walking out. I'm not joking.
Do you want to talk about your list of Joes?
Yeah, don't trust Joes.
So Annie has
This is an episode of Don't Trust Joes.
A theory.
Yes, essentially it's the Annie theorem. Don't trust Joes. Okay, and I have a list of Joes.
Of bad Joes.
1, Joe from the Lost documentary. She's really annoying and probably going to pepper spray me. 2, Joe Alwyn. He broke Taylor's heart so bad she wrote tortured post apartment. And if you haven't listened to it, it's pretty sad.
Yeah.
3, Joe Dutton. He died and made my wife sad. 4, Alwyn Lowe. He's just an honorable mention. I've got nothing against him. He's just an honorable mention.
But he's not even a Joe.
That's okay. Joe Gage.
Well, no explanation needed.
Kidnapped my wife and has a dad. Her dad killed Nicole Laws.
That whole family is dead to us.
Yeah. 6, Jojo Siwa. Do I even really need to?
I don't think we need to explain.
Jolene. You've heard the song.
Oh, the Dolly Parton song.
Hobo Joe.
Kind of an inside
It's an
joke.
inside joke. Sloppy Joes suck.
I like them.
Johanna, the captain from Law and Order.
Okay.
Don't trust him. It's Jover. Joseph Quinn. # not my George.
So your only objection to Joseph Quinn is he's been cast as George Harrison.
Mm-hmm.
But he was also in Stranger Things, so he probably...
That's too bad. He doesn't get to be George. Birdie Joe hoax.
Yeah.
Okay. So, to get to the actual episode...
Okay, but I just want to say one more thing about Joe as well. We're on the subject.
I told you that if...
Just as an illustration of Annie's aversion to people named Joe, I saw this post that Sabrina Carpenter might be dating Joe Keery, also known as Steve Harrington from Stranger Things. And Annie objected to the relationship solely on the basis of his name being Joe.
Well, one time we were doing this sort of like anthrax, I'll have the photos up here, but experiment in science, and it was supposed to be the CSI report, and it's like, why would CSI be doing that?
Please.
Anyways, you're supposed to be the police officers and figure out who did the crime. And I was like, it had the list of names, and I was like, it's Chef Joe. It's gotta be Chef Joe. It was Chef Joe.
Yeah. So. Well, I just wanted to note we're 10 minutes in, and we still haven't even said what episode
so sick.
we're talking about. But this week, you know, speaking of just severe mental illnesses, we are talking about the episode Probability.
Probably.
Yeah.
Or as I call it, probably.
And
I've never called it that before.
This one is in Annie's top 10,
yes,
I believe.
I love this one. This is probably...
Very, very good.
I know I say this every single time, but I'm pretty sure this is like one of the first ones I've ever watched. I think it was like the fourth one I watched.
Yeah, I think that was when your dad was trying to think of ones to sort of give you a good kind of sample of what the show's all about. So.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
So
what happens on this episode?
A homeless man dies, which is pretty realistic.
We see a lot of the homeless man. We see him trying to connect with his kids, his brother. He's trying to kind of reestablish his marriage.
But he's just, the tip of the iceberg. There's so much else going on in this episode.
But we found out that before he died, this man came into some money somehow.
Yeah, he was doing donations, like blood, like getting medically tested and stuff.
Yeah.
For experiments or something.
Right. So it starts with the one death, and then as they're kind of going through the files, they find more examples.
I would also like to say that the guy, we actually see the crime being committed in the start, and that guy is the scary guy from Lost, and I don't know what makes him so scary, but he's just scary. And in Lost, I kind of was like, I want him to die so bad. So he did die in Lost, and he does die in this. So yeah. I got my way.
For some reason, just on sight, Annie had a bad reaction to this actor, but yeah, and I think it's actually worth pointing out that whenever you see the murder being committed, there's obviously more to the story, right?
Because
they usually don't.
Otherwise, it would be like, why would we watch this?
They usually don't tell you right off the bat who did it. So in this case, the guy who committed the actual murder of this one victim, that's not really who they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So why have all these homeless people been turning up dead? What's going on?
There's something going on. All these people have given donations, right? To the
no. So what the scam is that they recruit these homeless people, sign them up for fake insurance policies. So they're supposed to be CEOs of French companies, and then they have to complete a medical in order to qualify for the insurance. And so once the insurance policy goes through, then they kill the homeless people.
Speaking of which, the French accents happening in this episode are happening.
Because of the France connection, both Goren and Eames speak a little bit of French.
It's very good.
Actually, they're both pretty good.
Their
accents are pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
We both took French immersion, so don't want to
We're allowed. We're allowed to.
We have pretty
judge.
good accents too. So that's the scam, because for these homeless people, they're just told, hey, look, if you give us some blood samples, you meet us in a hotel for a few minutes, we give you $1,000 or something like that. And then they end up dead. And because, homeless people probably have a high mortality rate anyway.
Nobody bats an eye.
Yeah, nobody bats an eye. And so they discovered there'd actually been So,
14.
14
murders.
And then they discover, like, there's probably going to be a couple more that were planned.
But the weird thing about it is that, like, all these things, they all happen on different days, different, like, it's all different. And Goren says that the law of probability says that there would be coincidences.
Yes.
Because that's just, like, if there's that
I think
many...
it's the law of averages, he says.
It's supposed to be... There's going to be coincidences, but there's not. And that's suspicious itself.
Yeah, the fact that there are no coincidences and that it's so random actually alerts Goren, no, there is a pattern here.
Yeah,
we just don't see
someone's
it.
trying so hard to stay off the radar.
But the one thing, though, that, like, Goren doesn't really have the background on is insurance and how it works and insurance companies.
Surprising, right?
Yeah. So they actually have to get an expert from this insurance company come in.
And just as soon as this scene starts, it's like, what is going on here? It's like a Nicole Wallace thing.
Yeah, it is a little bit. Like, who do we have here? And it is Wally Stevens.
And he's just a freak.
And right away, he's acting very peculiarly. He's drumming his fingers in a rhythm of 5 over and over and over. Eames is kind of like, what is this guy's deal? Goren is, like, immediately intrigued.
He's just like, this is the best day of my life. Like,
do you play piano, Mr. Stevens? And he says, I find doing this with my fingers relaxes me.
I love that scene because it's just such a good representation. Like, we have, of the episode, we've got Wally Stevens, who's just, like, a freak. He's just, like, so, like, stressed or something. And then we have Goren, who's like, this is the best, because it's just perfect. Like, it's the perfect mind to unlock.
Well, because...
And then we have Eames, who is, like, totally amused by this whole
and just kind
thing.
of watching on the sidelines and observing it all.
And observing, and, like, I really love when Wally, like, asks a question, and Eames is, like, looking at Goren expectingly to, like, see if he knows the answer.
Well, and so this Wally Stevens, he immediately kind of figures out a bunch of stuff about the mastermind. And, like, Eames is like, wow, like, you could figure that out just by looking? And, I mean, that's usually something she would say to Goren, right? So Goren is really intrigued, and he wants
he's
to
like,
be like, okay, what is it? What are you seeing? And so there's there's 5 markers that Wally Stevens identifies based on the files. It's like, where did this person go to school? Like Hartford College. Just what insurance companies he likely worked with. So there's these things that are all kind of together. And Goren loves it. And he's just like, wow, this is great, and he wants to, like, learn more and figure out more. And then there's this just beautiful shot of, like, Wally Stevens and his little tics of drumming his fingers.
Yeah.
And, Goren has a few of those tics as well, but he's kind of like, they're playing it up a little bit, and Eames is looking at them, and it's just a shot of the two of them, and they're both just kind of like, tweaking out a little bit. So it's a great scene. And then Wally Stevens, he's like, so that's all I can tell you, and then just abruptly walks out, just the Irish goodbye.
Yeah, he's very awkward.
Yeah, and, like, socially, like, not skilled. And then what does Eames say when he leaves?
I didn't know you had an older, geekier brother.
It's a great line.
So that's, of course.
And you know what I love about Goren? He's a good sport. He doesn't get offended. He just kind of laughs. So that's our introduction to Wally Stevens.
But you kind of know, like,
we'll be seeing him again.
Yeah.
Because it's just very distinctive. But initially, though, it looks like it's this Jack Barnard.
Barnard.
And that's the guy that Annie doesn't like. And so we think that he's the mastermind. It was his scam. He works with this French woman who is helping set up the companies on France, that end of it. But then he ends up dead.
Yeah. He ends up dead. There's a gas leak. There's some, like, overacting coughing going on. Well, they would not start coughing that quick. It's not realistic.
That's the other thing to avoid detection. It's only because they came looking for this Jack Barnard that they discover he's dead. But I don't think he died from the gas, though. I think he was already killed and was just kind of, it was staged so that and people would think, oh, it was a gas leak.
Speaking of, we have Rogers in it, so...
Yeah, because we haven't actually seen a lot of Rogers in the episodes that we've been talking about. So.
And what's her hair like?
I missed it because I was getting my coffee.
Wait a second.
But wait. Is this an episode of What Color is Roger's Hair?
I think it is.
I think it is, yeah.
All right, in this episode, Shawna was, like, in Oregon. She was, like, away. And I had to be the one watching all of this.
Yeah.
It was scary and unknown to me, and I didn't know if I would make it, but her hair was this short, and she had bangs, and it was the dark red.
The dark red. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So now they're kind of thinking, okay, so first of all, who killed this Jack Barnard? And where's the money? Because the French lady doesn't have the money. So then the trail leads back to Wally Stevens.
All roads lead to Wally Stevens.
Yeah. And they visit his office. They actually want to talk to him, but he's not there. But Goren's like, well, can we go to his office anyway? And what do they notice in his office?
I noticed it as soon as the
Oh, Annie's forgotten all the words.
As soon as the scene started.
There we go.
That there's this pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like you'd see on a dice.
So like a square and then one in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's everywhere. The photos, the plaques, the thumbtacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they realize, okay, he's got this pattern of 5.
Mm-hmm.
Then Goren, they go back to One Police Plaza.
And so they're like, what is the pattern for the murders? And then it's what? -1 +2 -3 +4.
It's only when they take the Jack Barnard murder out. So like the guy that we see
Shawna,
killed at the beginning.
How good was that I remembered that? That was
good.
so good.
But Leo Gurgis was how the show started. And they figure out, he wasn't part of the original plan. That was just kind of Jack's pet project he did by himself. He was trying to kind of get away with one on his own. So if you take him out, then that's 15,
mm-hmm.
which is divisible by 5.
Yeah, by 5.
And so then Goren takes that out of, because he of course has it like on a map,
mm-hmm.
and
like so many maps.
And then without that, it all starts to jump out. So
the pattern is -1 +2 -3 +4.
And what was that? That was like the days they were killed?
The days and the blocks.
And the blocks. Oh yeah, like 300, 400. Yeah, right. That's what it was.
Oh.
And then even like, so then Goren is like trying to figure it out. Carver's there.
But remember, this French lady said that there's 2 more murders that this guy had planned.
Right. So there's some urgency here because they want to prevent.
Yeah, and there's one pattern unfinished.
Yeah. So Carver is kind of like, he has the audacity to say, are you sure you're not looking for something that's not there?
And that just that's the last straw for Goren. Goren goes.
It's kind of the last straw for me. It's like, Carver, have you learned nothing?
Yeah.
Of the stubbornness of dwarves? Anyway.
Goren goes insane. He goes crazy. He has a freak out. He starts, yelling and moving, and Eames is so embarrassed.
She's kind of like, pull it together. Then he reads from his favorite book, his diagnostic manual, and he's reading about these symptoms include kind of the compulsion to repeat or to complete a pattern. And it's actually
and not form connections and don't have any empathy. That's why his wife left.
So yeah, it's called Asperger's. We're quite familiar with it now, but back when this episode first came out, it probably wasn't as well known. It's a high-functioning form of autism. But then there's still kind of the missing piece. They've got to figure out where these next 2 murders might happen. So then Goren's like, okay, this pattern of 5, and it's not just groupings of 5, but it's also kind of that spatial pattern that Annie mentioned before. So then he's like, okay, let's look at the first 5 murders, and he kind of connects the dots, and it makes this shape.
Yeah, it's like this. It's okay.
Well, that worked out well.
Yeah, you keep talking while I do this.
So then they do the next 5 and the next 5, and then they can sort of figure out where it is going to converge.
Yeah.
And it's actually Wally Stevens.
It's like this.
Yeah, so that's the shape we're talking about. 5 points. And it actually is going to converge where he lives. So what do they do?
I love the scene where they're ringing the doorbell and he like looks, and of course it's them.
And they have shown up with Chinese food. So they're like, oh, sorry, it's late. We just found something out. Wanted to run it past you. Have you eaten yet? You know, we got some Chinese food. And Wally's like right into it. He's like, yeah, I like Chinese food.
Oh, we also have to mention that like never mind. I'll bring it up later.
Also, maybe too, we need to find out or establish when they were in Wally's office. Like he's got pictures of his kids, and they're in that pattern. But they noticed that like one's taken from a car. So they figure out that his wife left him, has remarried. Actually, like she was a paralegal and then married a partner in her firm. So that's why Wally believes that women like money. He makes that comment early on when Goren first meets him. Women like money, and then Goren says, well, so do men. And he said, yeah, because women like men with money. That's his understanding of the complex gender roles. So they come in. He's like, Wally's all down with it. He's like getting plates. He's setting the table.
There's 3 of them, and he puts 5 plates down.
In that pattern, Eames is like just great, just like putting egg rolls on the plates. And then they do this weird thing.
Yeah, which is like, I'm not sure if it would work like that in real life.
Yeah, but
because
like,
Goren says he's like looking for houses.
Yeah, Goren's looking to buy a house in the area, and he's got this map, and so he asks Wally Stevens, like, why can't he do it himself? Like,
yeah.
But he asks Wally to like, can you mark that on the map? So he does, draw this dot. And then Eames is like, oh, and like my brother just bought a place, here. I'm so worried I'm going to get lost. Would you mind? So now he's like made another dot. So then finally they're just all playing along, and then they just like
pull the
rug from out of him, or bring down the net, however you want to say it. And Eames is just like, oh no, Goren's like, wow, boy, where's that wife of yours? Because at first they're like, oh, batching it tonight? Your wife's out with the kids? And Wally's like, yeah, she's not here right now. And then Goren's like, wow, but where is that wife of yours? It's getting late.
It's been like maybe 3 minutes. Like,
And then Wally is like, yeah, like she'll be back soon. And then Eames says, well, she
says sure right after she marries that.
Yeah. Maybe if she leaves that rich lawyer she married. So now like Wally is scared. Like he's threatened. They've triggered him. And then Goren just lays it out. He's like, look, like, yeah, we know your wife left you. We know that you thought you could get her back with money because you don't have any money. And he's like, yeah, I don't have any money. And Goren's like, really? Not even $15 million, $14 million? And then Wally is like, nope, I didn't kill anybody, and you can't connect me to this. So then Goren like takes out the map.
They both do.
And
I
together,
love that scene when they're like doing it together. They like draw the lines.
Yeah, together they connect the dots and they converge
right at the middle.
At Wally Stevens. He is the center. And so then Goren's like, look at the plates, look at the pictures.
And this poor guy doesn't know.
Like what you play on the piano, the 5 notes or 5 bars. And then he's just like, it's kind of dawning on him. And he's like, yeah, I wouldn't do that though. Why would I do that? Why would I repeat the same pattern over and over? I wouldn't. So then Goren's like clearly feels sorry for him and is like,
well, you do feel sorry for him.
You really do. I photocopied this for you, and it's the symptoms of Asperger's. And it's just a great performance by Mark Baker. Like, and so he's reading it and he's like freaking out. He's like, this is me. Like, why didn't anyone tell me? And Goren's like, yeah, like that's why it didn't work out with your wife. That's why you can't connect with people. Like, you know, they only started diagnosing it in 1994. Like, you would have been too old. And so you sort of have this moment of realization that, like, this man's life could have been completely different. You know, if only someone had noticed. And once again, like, who figures it out but Goren? You know, it's just yet another example of him seeing something that no one else can see. So there is definitely a lot of sympathy there. Even Eames, I think, feels sorry for him when he's like, I just want my wife and kids to come back. It's like the house is so empty.
It is so sad.
It's, you know, it's so different. I just want it to be the same. And so you do feel sorry for him, which really speaks a lot to this performance because, I mean, when you think about it, like, this is one of the worst serial killers on the show, like, to have killed 14 people. I mean, I don't even know if Nicole Wallace killed that many people. Like,
no, she didn't.
Probably. So, yeah, and yet you do feel sorry for him. And then he kind of realizes about, you know, himself and just this pattern, and that he gave himself away. And that was the thing he said right at the beginning, before they suspected him, when he was just the insurance expert. He said they always betray themselves. And so he betrayed himself, right, through this pattern that he wasn't even aware of. So then it ends with him, you know, in the interrogation room. He wants to make a full statement. He's going to confess. And then how does it end?
Eames says that that she's sure he'd like a pen pal.
Yeah.
And then we actually do see him again in a horrible episode called Friend.
But it is pretty interesting that they bring him back.
No, in
Endgame? Or
30?
Oh, wait.
In the one with his dad. I think it's called 30.
He's not in the wee hours?
Nope.
No, it's okay. Anyway, he does appear again. And
they are pen pals.
They do become pen pals. Yeah. And Goren visits him. So it's really cool that they actually, you know, and obviously...
No, Goren's just like, he's very tender-hearted.
Yes. But obviously people connected with this character because other than Wally Stevens, well, and that Connie kid, nobody really comes back. But actually there's another reference to Wally Stevens because remember the one where Eames is on maternity leave and that video game guy? He's
right, and St. John's in that one.
Yeah. And so there's a reference to Nicole Wallace and Wally Stevens.
Right, his two people.
And this guy tries to sort of throw Goren off because he's researched his cases and he's aware, you know, that Goren's going to be looking for the pattern and so on. And then he also tried to frame it on a deadbeat dad, right?
Right.
Yeah. Because that worked once before.
Episode...
What?
I'm just so mad that it has Bishop in it.
Yeah, but Annie, that's one of the best Goren Eames
I don't care.
episodes because
Eames isn't in it.
But it's that very important moment where Goren, and that's how he figures it out, that like he is so frustrated that Eames wasn't there, and he says like to Bishop, Eames would have known.
I don't care.
And
I don't care.
Listen,
I don't like Bishop. She doesn't blink. She's got like weird makeup. She's got a weird way of talking.
You're the one talking about Bishop. I'm talking about
me.
If you wanted to make a case, if you wanted to like put together a thesis that Goren loves Eames, one of the most compelling examples would be that he scrunches up this piece of paper and throws it at her empty chair.
Sure.
Because he's mad that she's not there. And then he realizes he misses his partner. Just like he misses his partner.
I get that. I'm just upset that Bishop is in the episode. Like, why couldn't they just have him go solo or something?
But isn't Eames in that episode anyway?
No,
she's not even in it. But she has her baby in that episode, so.
No, it's not even her baby. Poor Eames.
It is, sort of.
Anyways.
Yeah. So
it's ludicrous. It's literally put as ludicrous in my scale.
But the point is, this was a popular character because he does kind of appear again and is referenced again, which doesn't happen very often. So we spend a lot of time on the background, so we're going to just quickly move to our segments. So, and as far as our overacting Emmy contenders, like, not a lot of great choices. It was actually pretty
because Wally
good
Stevens
quality.
is so good. He's an actually good. It
Yeah,
was an actually good performance.
You can't give him an overacting Emmy,
Yeah.
but he is worthy of a real Emmy. But we don't do that. So, who did you give the Emmy to?
I gave it to
The French lady.
the French lady. The French lady.
And
Obviously.
she's like really snarky to both Goren and Eames. She's, Goren's trying to like read off these French companies, and she's like, I've never heard of it. Maybe it's your pronunciation.
And it's like, what?
Yeah. So, I agree with that choice. It's very tough to single out one Goren moment from this episode because there's
That's
so
for
many.
sure. It's a very Goren episode.
Yeah.
You know how like when you watch the newer seasons, it's kind of sad. Like I don't really even like Goren in the older seasons.
He's lost his spark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the first 5 seasons, he's just got so much energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's actually interesting because when Goren catches Wally Stevens drumming his fingers, and he says, "Oh, I do this to relax," and he's like, "Do you have a lot of tension in your work?" And what does he say? It's not actually tension. It's kind of the excitement of identifying the fraud.
And that sounds like Goren.
And it's that same excitement and passion.
Like adrenaline.
Adrenaline, yeah. That he's actually really stimulated, and so I miss that Goren. But we definitely see that Goren in this episode.
Yeah, he's just kind of lethargic in the when he's older.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously, these plot points I don't like. His mom dying.
Shawna tries to get me to stop hating season 3 because of Bishop being there. I try to get Shawna to stop hating on the newer seasons because they're not that bad.
I know, but it's sort of like they're just not the same quality, and I find it hard to watch.
They're not that bad,
There's just something wrong. There's just something off. And now I realize it's that Renee Balser was no longer the showrunner, and that just those little things makes the difference. But anyway, what is our Goren moment going to be?
Is that me?
I think it was probably me.
Our Goren moment?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably when he's tapping his fingers and he figures it out.
Their first. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if
then that's pretty good. And then when he's having his little freak out with Carver in the room and he almost knocks over the board.
Well, that's the same scene though.
Yeah, well.
So what Annie's referring to is Goren's almost got it. He's almost there. He's figured out some of the patterns. And then he starts tapping his fingers, and it's almost like his fingers are tapping independently of his body, and he's watching his own hand, and then he kind of remembers the 5 and figures out the rest. So that's really good. I would have to say mine is the first time he meets Wally Stevens and he's getting all excited because he's picking out the patterns, and just that scene I talked about where Eames is looking at both of them and they're both kind of doing these little mannerisms and nervous twitches, and I feel like it's just kind of an affectionate sort of, notice that Goren's a little bit strange, and he's got a little bit of those same quirks, not as extreme as Wally Stevens, but I think that's why Goren does have so much sympathy and empathy for him. He's probably felt uncomfortable too. There's one example where Wally is explaining to Goren, if I look at people directly, more than 2/3 of the time?
2/3 of the time I seem aggressive. If less than 1/3, I seem dishonest.
Yeah. And just how
my memory today.
How he's got to be so hyper aware of those things because they don't come naturally to him, right? And I think Goren runs into the same kinds of issues. It doesn't seem to bother him, but yeah.
Wow, you're so popular that everybody wants to text you.
All right, so let's move on to the fashion call.
Well, as always, we chose one for Eames.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I thought we would get away with it.
Yeah, I didn't notice before we started doing this podcast that Eames wears a lot of velvet, but I like it. And then that French woman we talked about, very classy.
Yeah, very, very
chic.
Very chic.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was gonna say it in French, but I feel like that would have been too cringy.
All right. So, why is this in your top 10?
I love it. It's one of those ones that's like a unique story. It's got, I don't know, like it's just so good, you know? It's, I love when it's deeper than you think it is. I love when it's a unique plot line. Like, it does kind of have a little bit of a Nicole Wallace sort of thing going on of like...
Because we're dealing with someone, really exceptional.
Yeah, and really different, you know? Like, not ordinary... someone that is kind of a challenge for Goren to get it into their head.
And I find, like, there's a lot of, once again, educational stuff where they talk about, like, the science of probability, the law of averages, chaos theory.
Stuff that we didn't know before.
Like the definition of a coincidence. Like, what's the difference between a coincidence and, a pattern or... so that was all very interesting stuff too. And then I think this is a great, I love the episodes that really focus on the relationship between Goren and Eames. That's why this podcast is called Partners in Crime.
Yeah, I mean, do you need to look at the Annie theorem again? I'll remind you, AE plus BG was CI.
Yeah.
So, which kind of brings me... Wait. Is this an episode of Annie Complains about CI?
I think it is.
I think it is. So, we got the representation scale today. I'd put this episode right here. Right there.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good, but could be better. Pretty good, Eames. I really love when she gets mad at someone. That's like my favorite thing. And so yes, that did happen.
Oh,
with
and
Wally
we missed
Stevens.
the Eames one-liner. Sorry.
No, we didn't. We already talked about it.
Well, but like not officially. You thought the one-liner was...
But I'm not done talking.
Okay.
Because that scene is so great with when Wally Stevens comes and he's kind of just keeps asking questions and she's so frustrated. She gets very upset. But sometimes it's kind of like, oh, that's what was happening. Like when they're like, oh, well, she was uncomfortable. She thought you were staring at her, but I didn't. I just kind of saw that she was
annoyed.
But I guess that's why he started talking about the staring thing.
But that makes me wonder if that's how Eames felt early on with Goren. Because we learn later she did, I don't like this, but she did request a transfer. And like maybe the way she reacts to Wally Stevens is how she kind of reacted to Goren before she got used to him. And I think there's just this...
That's actually a very good point.
And there's this interesting parallel that, like, so in that scene, Eames basically just walks away from him. She's like, I'm sure my partner would be more than happy to explain it to you.
She's
like,
so
she just wants to
frustrated.
get away from him. And Goren is really gentle and patient, and he's like, knows how to talk to this guy, right? Like, why don't we go into my office? But I feel like it's a similar dynamic with Eames and Goren. Like when Goren's kind of having his freak out and like Carver like shoots a look at Eames like what's going on, and Eames is kind of like like protective of Goren and kind of like doesn't want everybody to see how weird he is. But she's okay with it. So
another great example of how I get kind of upset with the representation is like just this designing, for example. Yeah. He's taking up all of the space. Yeah. They could have just zoomed it out, but they didn't. And that makes me mad.
Mm-hmm. I guess at the time, however you say his name, Vincent D'Onofrio, was the bigger star. He was kind of a movie star. So maybe even like actually...
I don't care, though.
Look at, like, she's way off to the side there.
This is the poster I have right above my bed.
So yeah, I mean, I guess he is in the lead role.
They actually edited this. This is not how it looks, the actual one.
But, it only works as a partnership.
Actually, this is horrible editing. You can see how the lines in the back... Actually, you can't see here, but look how the lines in the back don't...
Yeah. See, that's very good detail, observation. So I agree, it's a great episode. So just going back to the Eames one-liner, I know that you had mentioned the older, geekier, or older brother. Mm-hmm. Another good Eames line, they go down to see the guy from the records or something, and he's like all annoyed. He's like, next time call first, I'm supposed to be on my lunch break. And then Eames like, you get a lunch break? Like, just she has no sympathy. And again, sometimes they give us these hints that like they work really long hours. They're in Deacon's office, and you can see he's got like a change of clothes.
Yeah.
Like in the background.
So
yeah. And once again, like Deacon's just wants it to be the easy answer. Like when
he's so sick of
But it's a perfect puzzle for Goren to solve, and he does.
I'd also like to say that me and my mom and dad were watching an episode of CI called, I don't know, it has something to do with shrinks. And
No, it's the dentist one.
Nope, it's the shrink one. And it had that guy in it, whatever his name is. He was at Calgary.
Oh, Brent Spiner, yeah.
Yeah, Brent Spiner. And I was like, he kind of looks like...
No, but you're getting the person wrong.
No, I'm not. Oh, no, I am.
Yeah.
No, I am. No.
So the one with the dentist...
It's fine.
Okay.
So
Wally Stevens is played by Mark Lynn Baker, who was on Perfect Strangers.
Okay, and then this other guy who I guess was on this show. I've never seen this show. Didn't know anything about it except for that my dad used the song in one of his stupid movies.
Yeah. Perfect Strangers, they're cousins.
And now I have the theme song stuck in the head, too.
And the other cousin, like, is Balky. And he was the villain
in a different one. And I was like, man, this guy kind of looks like Wally Stevens. And my dad was like, what? And he wouldn't tell me until we finished the episode. So I was like, what's happening here?
So why would Annie be reminded of, like, his like co-star?
I don't know.
When she's never seen Perfect Strangers.
I've never seen. I didn't know anything about. I didn't know that there was even a Wally Stevens sitcom. Anyways.
Yeah.
So anyway, I do have the song stuck in my head. I have had it stuck in my head like a lot because my dad showed me his stupid movie that has the song in it.
What is it again?
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. Anyway. This is probably all very difficult to follow, but it is strange that Annie made this connection between the two actors, having not seen Perfect Strangers.
I guess it's just because I'm the perfect stranger. No, I'm just perfect.
Well, on that note, we are going to sign off. We'll keep you posted on our dream of meeting Cookie Kaspari in Toronto.
Please come to Toronto, please.
But we have other things to look forward to, like
such as
our next episode.
Our next episode is going to be so good.
So we just have to hope this podcast doesn't get canceled before next week when we finally finish off with season 2.
I'm going a little crazy.
Because we will be... Our episode next week is going to be Person of Interest.
Person of Interest.
A Person of Interest.
Person of Interest is the show with everybody in CI.
Yes. But this is called A Person of Interest. It's the season 2 finale. And we agree, tentatively, probably our favorite episode of Law & Order Criminal Intent all time. So, it's a pretty big deal.
All right.
Before we sign off, I just want to say happy birthday to Bono.
Happy birthday, Bono.
We love you, Bono. And on that note, see you next time.